There's a reason the same players keep rising, and it's not talent. You're watching it happen in real time, and most people still don't see it. You can change your entire trajectory in weeks once you understand this. This isn't luck. It's a system. When I was 13, school came easy to me. Too easy, honestly. I could coast through classes without trying, but football didn't come easy at all. I was out of shape, slower than I wanted to be, losing battles for the ball that I knew. Even in the moment, I should have won. Not close losses either. Clean losses of position, clean losses of pace, clean losses of confidence. Every run felt a step late. Every decision on the pitch felt like it arrived after the moment had already passed. I remember standing on the sideline after getting subbed off again, watching someone else finish the move I should have been part of, thinking, I'm just not built for this. Then my coach did something I didn't expect. He didn't give me a pep talk. He didn't tell me to believe in myself or any of that. He dedicated himself properly, relentlessly, to getting my body into the shape my mind already wanted to play in. Not casually. Early mornings before school, extra sessions after everyone else had gone home. The same drills over and over until they stopped feeling like drills and started feeling like instinct. That changed everything. Step 1. Ability equals readiness. See the gap, close it anyway. Most players who suddenly make it didn't get some secret talent injection overnight. They closed a gap that was visible the entire time. They just finally decided to do something about it. When my coach started working with me, he wasn't teaching me new tricks or fancy skills. He was closing the gap between what my mind already understood about the game and what my body could actually execute. And I started noticing things about myself once the fitness began catching up. I could make the same run I'd always tried to make, except now I actually arrived in time to receive it. I could press for the full 90 minutes instead of fading after 60, watching helplessly as the game passed me by in the final third. I could win the second ball, the one that comes after the first challenge, because I wasn't already exhausted from the first one. None of that was random. That was the gap closing, piece by piece, session by session. And this isn't just football. You see the same thing everywhere. Certain students suddenly start performing after years of being fine. Certain creators suddenly start getting views after months of nothing. Certain people suddenly start getting opportunities that seem to come out of nowhere. It's not luck. It's a gap that quietly closed before anyone else noticed it had ever existed in the first place. But here's where most people lose. They see the gap and still hesitate. They wait to feel ready. They wait to get in shape, literally or figuratively, and before they start playing the real game. They wait for some kind of confirmation that the work will actually be worth it before they commit to it. And by the time they finally move, the moment that needed them has already passed. I didn't have that luxury. I'd already spent years being average, being the kid who showed up and went home, being one of many. So I just trained. Messy mornings, uncomfortable sessions, legs that felt like they belonged to someone else, and at some point, I couldn't tell you exactly when, I stopped hoping I'd be ready for the next game. I started expecting it. That's readiness in real life. Step 2, position plus visibility. Play where you're seen, not just where you're good. Once my fitness caught up, the next thing that mattered wasn't effort anymore. It was position, both literally on the pitch and figuratively in how people saw me. On the pitch, I wasn't just running more than before. I was learning where to be. I'd position myself in the pockets where my finishing was strongest, in the spaces where defenders were slowest to react, in the areas where the ball was most likely to arrive when it mattered. Same legs, same boots, same basic ability I'd always had, but completely different output because I was finally putting that ability somewhere it could actually be seen and used. And this isn't just football. You see it everywhere. 2 students study the exact same material for the exact same exam. One just reads it cover to cover and hopes. The other studies how the questions are actually asked, what topics repeat year after year, and positions their effort exactly there. 2 people train in the gym with the same intensity. One just works hard and hopes the results show up eventually. The other understands what actually builds the specific result they're after and structures everything around that. 2 players are equally fit, equally committed. One plays wherever they're told and accepts whatever role comes their way. The other finds the specific space where their strengths become genuinely impossible to ignore. By the time I turned 16, that positioning showed up as numbers that everyone could see. I became the highest goal scorer in my school, and I want to be clear, it wasn't because I suddenly worked harder than everyone else around me. Plenty of players worked just as hard, some even harder. It was because I was finally in the right spaces, at the right times, with a body that could finally execute what my mind had understood about the game all along. Suddenly, people who barely knew my name were talking about me. Teammates looked at me differently. I went from being one of many to being the one people pointed to. Same effort everyone else was putting in around me. Completely different result, because I was finally playing correctly, not just playing hard. Step 3, consistency plus belief that isn't yours yet. Here's the part almost everyone skips when they talk about stories like this. The speed of real improvement isn't what most people think it is. After those early sessions, I wasn't trying to become perfect overnight. I was just trying to show up the next day and the day after that. Weeks pass like that, quietly, without much fanfare. And something shifts when you keep doing that, even when nothing seems to be changing on the outside. One player is still hoping they'll improve someday. The other already has evidence, even if it's small, even if nobody else can see it yet. And this isn't just football either. One person keeps planning, keeps waiting for the right program, the right coach, the right moment to finally begin. The other just starts, fails the rep, adjusts slightly, and goes again. Imperfectly, immediately. Weeks pass. One person still has ideas about what they could do. The other has actual experience of what happens when they try. Months pass. One person is still preparing to begin. The other already has momentum they can't fully explain to anyone who wasn't there for it. Then comes the phase where, despite all of that, it still doesn't show. You're training, you're showing up consistently, and you're still just the average kid to everyone watching. That's exactly where most people quit, right before it would have shown up. I remember being mid-session, completely exhausted, legs burning, thinking, what if this never actually shows up in a real game? What if I'm just tired for nothing? But my coach believed something I didn't yet believe about myself, and he kept showing up like it was already true, like the outcome was already decided and we were just waiting for the calendar to catch up. Not blind hope, just trusting the process long enough for it to start making sense on its own terms. And in that quiet, invisible stretch, the part nobody ever sees or talks about, something genuinely forms. You start trusting your legs under pressure instead of bracing for them to fail you. You start reading the game half a second earlier than you used to, almost without noticing. You build something specific to you, something nobody handed you and nobody can take away. By 16, I wasn't copying anyone else's game anymore. I was playing my own. Readiness shows you the gap. Closing it puts you ahead of where you were. Position gives you leverage you didn't have before. Visibility multiplies the outcome once it's there. Consistency compounds the work even when you can't see it compounding. Belief, even borrowed belief, even belief that isn't fully yours yet, keeps you in long enough for your own belief to catch up. And eventually, the specific player you become is yours. Fully yours, earned, not given. That's ability with leverage. Most players are still trying harder, hoping that's enough on its own. A few are closing the gap earlier, quietly, before anyone's watching. And the ones who learn to do both eventually stop competing with players who never even saw the gap in the first place. Because by then, they're not playing the same game anymore.